Previously, I have talked about the lists in Python and how we can frame them and the different types of lists. We basically said that list is a combination of values that we can put between different brackets, and once we specify these values in form of numbers, in form of strings or Boolean values, we can assign that to a variable, and that variable is iterable. Basically, a list is iterable. So once we create a list, we can run a for loop on the list and it will go through each of those values one by one. And also we said the list can be indexed. So this is an index 0, index 1, index 2, and it goes all the way. Now let's say we have a list and we want to add a value to it. There are different ways to do it. The first one is using an append function. Basically an append function, an append method, what it does, it will add to the end of the list whatever value that you are looking for. Let's run a simple example. Let's say we had examples of A list and B list. A list is a bunch of numbers with a Boolean value, and B list is also a bunch of strings. Now we can extend, let's say, B list with an append statement. So whatever we put in append is going to be added to the end of that list. So I'm just going to say append, and let's say add elephant to the list. And now we can print the list again, say print B list, and we can see that the B list now has been extended with another value. We can do the same and add different types of values to the A list as well. Another way to do this also is using an insert method. So an append is only going to add new types of data to the end of the list, but with insert we can basically add a value to wherever that we're looking for. So what we do is that we specify not only the value that we want to add, but also we specify the index of that value. For instance, let's say we want to add a value to the beginning of that list. In this example, we have a list called fruit, and we can insert banana to the beginning of that list. If we go back to the example that we're running, I can say a list dot insert, and let's say I want value 5 to be added to the A list, and I can print A list again just to see how those values have changed. Now we see that we have all the values, but now 5 is added to the beginning of the list. If I wanted another value to be added to it, let's say in the middle, I can say insert 5, the value 15, and we see that we're index, and then we can print A list again, and we see that the new value is inserted based on the index that we have provided. Now how can we remove values from the list? There are two ways to do it. Pop basically removes the last element from our list, and what it does, it will remove it. So for instance, we can say if we have this list and we say fruit.pop, it will remove the last value. So let's do this with the examples that we're running here. I can just create a new cell and run some instances to see how that would work. So we have A list and B list. I can say just print A list just to be what it is, to see what it is. I can say print A list again, and in between I'm going to say A list dot pop. Now let's see what happens. So we have two instances. In the first instance, we have the last value as true, and the second one we see that that value is now removed. Another thing you can do with pop is that you can also generate, you can also give an index for the value that you're trying to remove. Let's say I was just planning to remove the second value. So I can say a list pop1, and if I print this list again, I see that the value 3, which is the index 1 in that list, is removed and the list has been updated. There's also another method that's called remove. You can remove the values or basically any item from any list using the remove method. And what it does, you can basically just specify the value that you're looking for and it will remove that value. So if I want to apply that to this example, let's say, let's print our B list again and try to remove a value from it. So here I have my B list that has all these values, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to say B list remove the value zebra and then print the list again just to see the changes. So we see that now our list is updated with the new value that does not include, the list doesn't include the word zebra.